This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, welcome to the session. Hope you all can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so see here. Previously we have discussed on 1 second. I think let me check how many participants are there. Hey, I can see only one participant. Okay, just a
Yeah,
second.
only I'm.
I want to check whether they are going to join or not, because today I want to discuss
Kumar,
extensions and I don't want them to miss. Hi
okay.
all.
I did one thing. Last night I was practicing that execute query,
Hmm.
and here I see a difference. There was two objects. That's
Hmm.
query build data source and query run query build data source. And in
Hmm.
query run query build data source, the the range filter was different, the blank.
Hmm.
Whereas in query data source, the range filter was Telangana.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
okay. So the preference would be going to query and query build data source.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now you can see here, I think we have two participants, so let's continue. I don't want to stop the session today. Okay, so previously we have discussed on a whole lot of things on the forms. Okay, and I think we have covered most of the part. And if there are small things that you can try from your end, you can let me know if you have any queries. The next step, I want to go with the form extensions today. Okay, actually, this is very important to understand how the form extensions will work. Okay, because most of the times people will face a lot of issues when working with form extensions or the class extensions. Okay, let's see them in detail today. Okay, I'm going to discuss each and everything in detail. Yeah, I don't want to just skip by saying only few topics. So let's see how each of them is going to work. Okay, because if you come to the matter of a form, there are a lot of things that we need to learn. Okay, so already I think we have added the minimum threshold and maximum threshold. Is that right? We have added minimum threshold and maximum threshold in cast table and then cast parameters. So we have not added them on the form. Okay, so let's add them on the form. Minimum threshold and maximum threshold. We will add on the cast table and then we will add on the cast parameters, both of them. Let's do that. Let it load. I will show you how to add it and how to identify where to add, because identifying is very important. Let's see that. Now if I go to this one, accounts receivable, you can see first one is all customers. This is the details form master, and on this details form master we will be having the details as well. Okay, we will be having the main session, which is the grid, and the second one is the details. So let's add in both the places because I want to edit for a few of the customers. We can try it out. It will be interesting. Okay, let's wait for a minute. It's loading. Because creating form extensions is very simple. Okay, whereas writing code, people will find sometimes it will be difficult. Okay, so this is my form, and in this details form, in this customers form, let's add them here. Okay, if I click on show more fields, you can't see anything here. Okay, so now let's add on this general page. So how to identify form information? Form name is cast table, control name is tab general header. Okay, now we have them ready. Cast table, tab general header. And similarly, if I go to accounts receivable and then set up accounts receivable parameters. So this is the parameters form. But please remember, in the parameters form, it will have only one record because it has a parameters table. The parameters table will have only one record. So we would not be able to add more number of records to it. Okay. Now let's say if you want to add it here, simply right click, form information. Form name is cast parameters. Control name is customer tab page. Okay, customer tab page. Let's check that and let's add it. So how to create a form extension? It's very simple. Go to Application Explorer and then User Interface. Now you know the form name is cast parameters. Expand the forms node here and select cast parameters. Cast parameters, and then right click on this cast parameters. It's very simple. Click on the create extension. Done. The extension is created. Okay. Once you click on the create extension, the extension is created. Click on the open button now. Now this is my cast parameters extension. Okay. Let it load. And in this, you can see the tab. And in this tab, you can see general update like this. There are a lot of tabs. Okay. And then this is the general fast tab. And then you have the customer tab page. Can you see this? Customer tab page, general tab page. You can see here. That's what we have seen. General, customer. Oh, this is the customer tab page. So if you want to add it here, you can add it directly here. Okay. And in this, they have created one group called customer. And in this, they have added. Okay. Now let me check if it allows me to create a new control in this group. 1 second. No, it's not allowing. It is allowing me to insert a sibling. Okay. So let me try now. In the cast parameters, we have fields called what are those? Minimum threshold and maximum threshold. Now let's add them. Minimum threshold and maximum threshold. We have added them in the cast parameters or not at the table level? I don't remember. Oh, Where is this maximum wave of days? 1 second. Let me check. I don't remember whether I have created the extension for cust parameters and added the two fields or not. Let me check. Table extensions. Oh, I have created only for cust table, yeah, not cust parameters. Okay. I thought I have created for cust parameters as well. Okay. Let's take the cust table then. I thought I have added for cust parameters, but it's only for cust table. Let me take cust table. Okay. Open. No, not this one. Let me take the form, user interface, forms, and then you can take cust table, right click, create extension. Now it will create an extension for cust table. Now open this, open. And here as well, we have planet ads in one general tab page. Now let's see that where it is located and how to add it. If you create an extension for cust parameters, then you can add it from cust parameters. If you create the for cust table, you can add it for cust table. Okay, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do, you can do with it. Okay. Now I will just show you here, and then I will go back to there. Okay. Tab header, and you can see general tab page. This is how we need to identify. Done. Now in this, you can add two more fields. What are those two fields? Go to the data sources, and then you have the cust table, and then fields, and then minimum threshold, maximum threshold. You have these two fields, simply drag and drop. Done. It got added. Two fields got added to the general tab page now. Now, if you come to this one general tab page, in the pattern, you should be able to see them. Okay. 1 second. Okay. If you come down, you can see minimum threshold and maximum threshold. Done. This is how we are going to add data to the fields to the form. Okay, this is how you're going to add them, as simple as this. Okay, it's not a difficult thing, it's a very easy thing. Okay, now let's say, now this is how you have added, this is well and good. Now I want to write a methods, rightly, methods, rightly. Oh, you can't create a new method. Let me try here. Oh, you can't do that. Let me try for the data source. Here as well, it's not allowing me to override. Yeah, and here, no. That means when you come to the form extension, you can't create the methods directly in it. When you create a form extension, you can't create the methods directly in it. Then how to create them? If you want to create a methods, the only way is to create a class. Okay, in table extension, we have the same thing. Even in the form extension, it's same. You need to create a class, and then you need to call it as ICI cast table underscore extension. What do you need to call? You need to call ICI cast table. Okay, we have form and table, so I will call it as form. ICI cast table form underscore extension. Click on the add button. Okay, so even in the forms as well, it will stay same. So I'm not going to add multiple extensions. Okay, we will work only with single extension. If you create multiple extensions, as we have seen on the table, it will be same in forms as well. Okay, make it final. The first thing you need to do is you need to make the class as final, and then you need to use an attribute called extension of, and then previously we have used table str. Now we need to use form str cast table. Form str cast table. Done. Okay, done. Now let me try to open this in the designer mode. Where is cast table form underscore extension? Open in the designer mode. Right click, override. Oh, it's not showing any methods, because this is one more thing that people will ask. I will override, then it will show the methods. No, it is not going to show any methods when you override. Go to override. Now one more thing. If you need to use the chain of command, this is the form extension. What are the methods on the form? Run, init. Okay, these are the form methods, na? Okay. Now, how to use chain of command? If you want to use chain of command, you need to use the same method signature. Okay, I know the method signature, so I'm writing it. Init method is void done, and here as well, it's same as that of a table extension. If there is no next, it will throw the error saying that there should be a unconditional next call, next init. Okay, next init. Okay, now let's say you want to enable or disable something. Now you have created a new, what do you call that, new fields in the extension. Now how to access them? Okay, or the existing fields, whatever it can be, how to access them? It's very simple. Now if I go to this one, you can see this cache table underscore minimum threshold. Go to properties, set auto declaration property yes, and here as well set auto declaration property to yes. Done. Save. Okay, now you can go to the name field, and then you can copy this. It's the display name. 1 second. You can copy this. It's the maximum threshold, and then you can take this, press dot. Okay, and then let's say I want to enable this. Let me write enable in the bracket true. Done. Okay, I am trying to enable a field, a control called cast table underscore maximum threshold. I am just enabling this control. It will not throw any error. Okay, but it will not show the IntelliSense as well. Sometimes it will show, sometimes it will not show. That actually I don't know why it is happening, but sometimes it will show the IntelliSense and sometimes it will not show. Okay, and I think in some of the versions I saw that, and some of the versions it depends. Okay, it depends on the modifications that they are doing continuously. So it will not show IntelliSense most of the times. That's what I can say. So you need to just remember the names. You need to remember the names. This is how we are going to create a simple form extension and then create a init method. Even if the chain of is using the chain of command, you can enable or disable the controls. Okay, here this is not the standard control. If you want to use the standard control, this is the customized control. Similar way, you can use the standard control as well. There is no difference at all. Okay, even if you are using this one, or even if you want to use some other control, let's say for example, in this I have, in this upper group identification, let's say in this I have something called type. This is the combo box. If you want to use this type, you can simply use type. If auto declaration is set to yes, what you can do, you can say here type dot enable in the bracket true. Okay, done. This is how you can use. You can use the form controls directly with their names. Okay, this is the possible case. And now the next step. Now let's say this is form. This is well and good. What about form data source? In the form data source as well, I have the methods. Is that right? In the form data source as well, I will have the methods. Now let's say I want to set some default values to these controls. Okay, to the control I want to set some default value. If you want to do that, you can do that in the run method. Okay, you can do that in the run method by writing a business logic. That's possible. Okay, or what is the other way? What is the other way around? This is one more question, because people will ask, okay, I don't want to do the in that way. I want to do it in a different way. I don't want to use the run method and set that. I want to set the data source values. When I'm creating a new record, I want to initialize the values automatically. I don't want to initialize the controls, because if you want to initialize the controls with default values, you can do that. That is one way. No, if you want to initialize the data source fields with the default values, that's a different way. How to do that? Let's see that. To do that, we need to create an extension for form data source. Remember, for form, you need to create an extension in a separate fashion. For form data source, you need to create an extension in a separate fashion. How to do that? ICI cast table form data source. Okay, form data source underscore extension. Okay, and here ICI cast table form data source. Okay, now let's say in the cast table you have multiple data sources and you want to create an extension for a specific scenario, specific data source. Then you need to mention form cast table time cust collection data source, like that. Okay, it depends on whatever the data source you are using. You need to provide the name. This is very, very important. Please remember that. Okay, now let me go to Application Explorer and let me view the code of it. I want to view the code of it so that I can get the signature of the init value method. I want to get the signature of the init value method. Let me get it. Okay, here let me check the init value. This is init. Where is init value? Okay, this is not showing that. Very bad. Let me check if it is there or not. Okay, this is init value, and this init value is for, this is init display cust table. This is for cust table data source, and in the cust table data source we have the init value method, init, and then init value. Now this is the signature. You need to simply copy this out, and then in your form data source extension you need to paste it. And here the first thing that you need to do is you need to make it final, and then here comes the logic. You need to say extension of, in the bracket, what is the name? Form data source. You can see here form data filter control, form data field str, and the form data source str. There should be something called form data source str. This is the one we need to take, and then you need to specify the form name. The form name is cast table, and then you need to specify the data source. Data source name is cast table. This is how you need to do. Got it? This is how you need to do. And then here public void init value, chain of command. You need to use next init value. Done. What is the next step? I want to initialize with the default values. How to do that? I need to take cast table, customer table equal to, remember in chain of command, this is the benefit. This is going to work in chain of command. You can say this dot cursor. Cursor means I am saying to fetch the current record, and then in the current record set cast table dot minimum threshold equal to 2000, and then cast table dot maximum threshold equal to 5000. Okay, and the similar kind of initialization is done in the table extension as well. We have created events, event handlers, and everything. Now let me do one thing. Let me comment whatever the values that we have assigned. Okay, because I don't want these values to be shown. Okay, I want to take only values from the form here, which is why I'm commenting these values. Otherwise there will be a slight confusion for you people, and again we need to get back and we need to see everything. That instead of that I will simply comment whatever we wrote in this one. Okay, and here as well, pre-event, post-event, and here as well. And please remember, whenever you are working with the extensions patterns, the first thing that you need to do is you need to go for which one? Chain of command. Okay, and remember the chain of command is possible only for public and protected methods. If those are private methods, and then you need to go for event handlers. What you need to go? You need to go for event handlers. Please remember this. Okay, we have changed at the table level, and then we came back to the cast table now. 1 second, let me close this. Okay, form data source extension. Now done. We are setting the values 2000 and then 5000. This is how we create an extension for form data source. Okay, and similarly, let's take an example of a form control. Okay, let's take an example of a form control. If I go to this cast table form, whatever we have created, ICIC1, And here I have a control. Let's say I have a control called this type. And let's say if this is modified, okay, already modified method is there, so I don't want to take this. 1 second. Okay, here there is a control called posting underscore cust group. For this as well, modified is there. Okay, I think we need to take my own control. Okay, let's take example of this control. Now, if I need to write the methods, if I right click, I can't write them. So if I need to write the method on this, what is the way? I need to create one more extension. Click on the add button, new item, and what is that? It's a form control. So I need to call ICI cust table form control underscore extension. ICI cust table form control underscore extension. And in this case, whatever you need to do is, again, you need to make it final. And then here, you need to write extension of in the bracket form control str. And then in the bracket, let me take cust table, comma. You can see all these are the controls. Okay. Can you see this? All these are the controls. It will show almost all the controls here. Okay. Now my control name is cust table cust table underscore. Oh, what is this? Is it max threshold? Let me try. I'm not getting it. Let's see. Save. Done. I'm taking cust table underscore max threshold. It says, oh, form control not found on this table. Okay, because we have not built, might be. Okay, because this is not built yet, so which is the reason why it might be not showing. Okay, now let me check the name, or we have given the wrong name. Cust table underscore maximum threshold, cust table underscore minimum threshold. And let me check one more thing here. Let me go to properties. Auto declaration, is it set to yes? Yeah, it's set to yes. Here as well, auto declaration is set to yes. Good. Oh, it's maximum threshold. Sorry, I have given max. This is the problem. Done. Now let me check. Okay, it's not the build, it's the problem with name. I have given the wrong name. Okay. Now next, let's say I want to write a method called modified. So for the modified, whatever you need to know is about the syntax. The syntax of the modified method is public boolean modified, because this modified method will return a boolean variable. Done. Okay. Again, it will throw the error for next. Okay, not all paths return the value. Good. I will say return true simply, and then now if I say, it will throw the error for next. Next, modified. Okay, UN for whatever the control you have, you need to do in the same fashion. There is no change. Okay, there is no change at all. This is how we will work with the form control extensions. This is how we work with the form control extensions. And now, up to now, we have seen the form data source, form events. Now, there is one more thing here. We need to learn one more thing here. What is that? I have the form data source fields. Let's say I have the account number. Okay. There are no methods. Let's say I want to write the modified method at the form data source field control. Okay, for the form data source field as well, we'll have the modified. Okay, so how to do that? To do that, you need to create one more class. Click on the new item and call it as ICI for ICI cust table form data source field underscore extension. Click on the add button. Click on the add button. Now let's see whether it works or not. Okay, and here, as this is a extension, you need to make it final, and then you need to use extension of, and then form data source I'm checking for something. I'm checking for the form data source field str. Okay, there should be something called form data source field str. I'm checking for it, but unfortunately it is not showing. Why? Let me check. Form data. It's form data field. Sorry. Okay, form data field str, and then this is the form name you need to provide. What is the form name? It's cast table, comma, and then it is expecting the field name. Sorry, this is the data source name. Data source name is cast table, and then you need to take the field name. What is the field name? Account number. This is the standard field. Let's try with the standard field now. Okay, we'll try with the standard field, and then what is the method name? Public boolean modified, and then you can say simply return true, and then here next modified. Done. This is how we are going to write. Oh, what is this? It throws the error. Oh, sorry, yeah. The return type is void for this. I thought it's boolean. Okay, for this one, no, it's void. For form data source field, it's void, whereas for form control, it's true. Okay, so this is how you know how intelligent it is. It will throw the errors as well. Now this is how you are going to create a extension for form data source field, and then use the chain of command. Here you can use again this, and you can modify whatever you want. Okay, you can use this. You will get whatever the data you have, whatever the data of that field you have. You can modify whatever you want. Okay, whatever you want, you can modify at the form data source field level as well. At the form data source field level as well. Okay, now let's say this chain of command is limited. Okay, is limited. Why it is limited? Because in few scenarios we cannot use the chain of command, that you know well. Now let's say we need to go for the other possibilities. What are those other possibilities? Okay, let us see. First one, let me go to the form level. Events, can you see this? On activated, on closing, on initialized, on initializing, on post run. After the run method is completed, what should be done? That we will write in on post run. That we are going to write in on post run. On initialized, what is the method name? On initialized. After running the init value, what should be done? On initializing. Before the supercall of the init method, what should be done? We are going to write in on initializing. Let's do one thing. Let's try one of the form events. Click on the add button and then a new item. And let me go to, what is it? A class. And we need to create, what we need to call it? ICI cast table form events. We need to call ICI cast table form events. Click on the add method. And then I want to get the event. How to get the event? Simply right click, copy event handler method, and go to this one and paste it out. You can simply paste it. You will get the event handler. Now we got the event. Okay. Now we got the event. Now in this event, how to write the code here? I don't see anything. Here this is not going to work because this is a static method. In static methods, this is not going to work. Okay. I told you that each and every form is derived from form run. Now do you have form run here? Yes, X form run sender. You have it. So we need to use that sender, and then we need to get whatever we need. How to do that? To do that, use the sender dot, and then in this you'll have a whole lot of methods. Okay, a whole lot of methods. So all these methods are nothing but the form methods, but I'm not going to use all of them. We have a method called design, and this design is going to return the form. Okay, form design, and this form design, and again you can see there will be properties, there will be methods, and everything again. So whatever I need is, let's say I want to enable the control. To do that, I have the control name, control num. Let's say I want to take the control name for the sake of easiness. You need to provide the control name. You need to take form control str in the bracket, cast table. What is the control you want to use? You have a lot of things here. Which you want to enable, which you want to disable. You can do that. Okay, you can do that. Let's say I want to take the ones we have created. Cast table underscore account number, cast table underscore currency. Let me check. Oh, minimum threshold and maximum threshold. Again, it's not showing. Very bad. Okay. Cast table underscore maximum threshold. Again, it's not showing, so we can't help out here. Cast table underscore maximum threshold. And then what you need to do? You need to set some property. Dot. Let's say I want to enable or disable it. In the enable, set it to true. Done. It's done. Can you see this? How simple it is. But if you see the difference between the chain of command and the event, which one do you prefer now? Okay, which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? Yeah. After seeing this, 99% of the times I used to get only one answer. I will go for chain of command. Okay, I used to get only this answer from all the students. You know what is the reason? Because if you want to write this on initialized and if you want to write like this, who is going to remember this one? Yeah. Even remembering, you can keep it aside. Okay, you might ask me, oh, then how did you remember this? I'm going to take a session a whole lot of times. Okay, because I can say 40 batches or more than that for this one. Okay, so I remember all the things. Okay, but remembering all these things will be a bit difficult. So people will always go for chain of command. Please remember. Okay, now this is about form events. Well and good. Now the next one is called, what is the next one? Click on the add button, new item, and let me create a class, and this class would be ICI form data source events. What is it? Form data source events. Okay, I will create one in event. Let's see, one event for form data source as well. Let's create and see how it will work. Okay, now in this I will go to form again, back to back. If I go to the data source in the cast table, you can see events here, and let's take the init value. I have on init value. Right click, copy event handler method, go to this one, simply paste it here. Okay, now actually if you say form data source, simply you want to update the query or you want to do something with this. Okay, and here as well for the form data source, you have the sender, form data source sender. Now let's say you want to initialize the default values. It's very simple. How you will do? Cast table equal to, I have the sender dot cursor, and then cast table dot min threshold maximum threshold. You can do that. Similarly, let me try one more thing. Sender dot query. Sender dot query means you got the cast table. If you want to add anything, any range, how will you do that? Dot. Do you remember? Data source table, and then you can specify the table num. Okay, you can say table num, and then in the bracket cast table dot, and then add range. In the range, add whatever you want. Field num in the bracket. Maximum, 1 second. It's the table name, cast table, comma, maximum threshold, dot, value. Okay, in the value mention greater than 2000. Done. This is how you can add the range. Can you see this? How simple it is. This is how we are going to work with the queries. And this is up to you, whether you want to write the query, whether you want to work with the range, whether you want, whatever you want to do, you can do in the form events. Okay, this is how you can add. If you want to add the range, this is how you're going to do that. Okay, and what is the next thing? Now we know about the form data source events. Good. And similarly, what do we have here? We also have form control events. Okay, in the form control as well. Let's say if I go to cust table, and let's say if I go to this okay upper group, and then I'm not showing the group events. Here you can see events. What are there? On enter, on got focus, on lost focus, on validated, on validating. Can you see? All these are the events available. Okay, all these are the events that are available. The first preference should be given to the chain of command. If chain of command is not available, then you need to go for the next preference. What is the next preference? Events. Please remember this. The next preference should be given to events. And when the events are not working, this is one more thing that will happen. Sometimes you don't have the events as well. Then you need to go for the last sort, which is the event handlers. How to write the event handlers? Okay, that's again a big deal. Okay, let me show you. If I go to the methods, you can see there are a lot of methods. I have the init method here. Right click, copy event handler. I am taking post event handler. Okay, I will show you event handler only in the form case here. Remaining it is same. There is no difference again. I am creating a new class. I will call it as ICI cust table form event handler. Similarly, if you create a event handler for form data source, you need to say form data source event handler. Similarly, if you create a event handler for form control, you need to say form control event handler, like that. Okay, it is used for identifying the things easily. Otherwise, predicting would be very difficult. Okay, you know, in one of my project, I created a tool only to identify these extensions, because what people have done is they have created a more number of extensions, and for that how many extensions are there, identifying was very difficult. We have created a tool and then we have done that. Okay, so you should not do that. Okay, now here we are getting the arcs. There is no form run as well. Now how to get it? That's very simple. You need to create an object for form run, and then you need to take form run equal to arcs dot get this. If you use arcs.get this, how you are using the arguments? If it is a table, arcs.get this will return the table buffer. If it is a form, arcs.get this will return the form. If it is a class, and if you are passing the arcs.get this will return the class. Similarly, the arguments are used to get whatever you are passing. Now you have the form run. Okay, now you have the form run. I wrote the piece of code here. If you remember, sender dot form run. Where is the custable or sender dot design? Now simply let me copy this. Okay, and then paste it here. And here, instead of sender, I will use form run. So done. Okay, done. It is not throwing any error. Let me build and check whether we are getting any errors. And we have created a table extension. So I want to sync it. Okay, I want to synchronize the database because I have updated the table extensions now. So I want to sync the database. Do a rebuild. Done. Let it build now. Let's wait for a minute. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, please let me know.
The event handlers which we have write on above the threshold, is that extension over extension? Because threshold, minimum or maximum threshold is already an extension for a class, and on form filled method
It's not
we have
extension
already
or
created.
extension. Okay.
Okay.
Event handler works in a different way. Chain of command works
No,
in a different way.
sorry, no. I don't ask about extension. It was in uh, form data field.
Yes.
Can you come on that class
Which class?
where we write the yeah form control extensions? Form control extensions.
Okay.
No, not here. In which we write the extension for fields. Yeah, that one. Previous, the previous class, the previous one. Sorry, the previous one. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
So we have added the cust table, in customer table, we
Yes.
added maximum threshold as an
Hmm.
extension, and in form we are using that extension, and on that extension we are using. So I'm thinking wrong. All right, I have a
In
little
which
confusion
extension?
over this.
I did
Uh,
not get your question actually.
yeah, actually, what I'm asking is, the maximum threshold is a custom extension in cust table,
Yes.
and in form control, this is a extension control,
Yes.
and for that extension control we are extending that again.
No, no, we are not extending anything again.
Oh,
Already this is
okay.
extended. Okay. See here, this is extended at the table level. And at the form level, you have this cust table underscore maximum threshold. Now I want to write methods for this cust table underscore max threshold. So I have created a form control extension. Okay, this is again, this is not a different extension. This is bound to cust table form cust table underscore maximum threshold control. Okay. You are treating
Okay.
this cust table underscore maximum threshold form control as a different extension, and this one as a different extension. These two are not different.
Hmm.
These two are same.
Okay.
Okay. At the end, this will bound with this one.
Okay.
Actually, if you debug and if you work on the extensions, then only you will get it. Which is why I spend a lot of time on table extensions, because table extensions are very, very important. It needs some time in understanding. Okay. Because I do that regularly, so I know them very well. But whereas if you need to try them, it will take some time. You need to practice. Which is why I ask everyone to record the video, even in the past batches as well. Whenever there is no recording, I used to tell them record from your end itself. You can use a WebEx or some screen recorder tool, and then you can record the session. This is what I used to say. Because by seeing this, by listening in the session, you will find, oh, it's very easy. But in the real time, when you start writing it, you'll find, oh,
It's
how did he
difficult.
write it?
It's really very difficult.
You think the same thing. How did he write it? Within half an hour or 45 minutes, he wrote all the extensions and he showed how to work with them. Because this is my daily work, and I can say I used to do this a whole lot of times. So, and even the integrations as well. I used to get a lot of messages on WhatsApp. Okay, only for the integrations, because while I am showing the integrations, everything you will see and it is going to work flawlessly. Okay, it will work immediately. I'm going to create whatever you say. Okay, whatever you say about the integration, I will create that integration. It will start working. Whereas when you try from your end, you will get different kinds of issues. That actually you need to follow the process. If you follow the process and steps, then obviously it will be very easy. Okay. Okay, done. Now let me go to the front end. We have discussed on workspaces and we have discussed how to add the Power BI tile. I'm thinking whatever is left on forms. 1 second, let me check. In the time it loads. Tiles we have done. Patterns we have done. Hey, there are a few more patterns that I might not have explained. I have left for you. So please try to work with them, yeah, because that's important, okay? And here we have seen the table extensions and then the form extensions as well. Menu extensions, 1 second. We have seen this. We have created a navigation pane menu and then main menu extension. We have seen that. And next, okay. Yeah, next time I'm planning to go with data entities. Next week, okay, it will take some 4 days, I can say, data entities. So we will start with data entities and then we will move on to the next topic, okay? And data entities will be very interesting. It's a brand new topic, okay? It's a brand new topic, and for all the integrations, we are using data entities. So please listen this carefully and let me know if you have any queries. Okay. And practice. Practice is very, very important. Okay. 1 second. Let it load. Okay, it got opened. Now let me go to the modules and then accounts receivable, all customers. And let me open any one of the customer. Okay, the first thing is we need to see the fields. Can you see this? Minimum threshold, maximum threshold. These are the two fields. Okay, you can see here. And now let me click on the new button to check whether new customer is getting created or not. This is standard screen. So let's check. Okay, and oh, it's showing a lot of details. Okay, there is one more screen that we need to modify, which is this one. Here I don't see our information. Okay, let me do one thing. Customer account, but it has called our extensions. You can see init from extension one before next. Let me take this one. Okay, if you want to add data to this one, you can add data to this one as well. Let me give some good value here. Test -001. Will it allow this? Let me check. It's not allowing. Okay, but let me check. It's not there. Okay, done. Let me go back. We need to see this test customer created. Yeah, done. So once you will run this again, you will have the extension will get called and the data will get created. And while creating the customer as well, let's say if you want to add the minimum threshold and maximum threshold, then you need to customize this form as well. Dear party quick create form. In this form as well, we need to customize and then we need to add the data. Dear party quick create form. Okay, for example, let me show you. 1 second. Dir party quick create form. This is the form. Let me create an extension out of it. Open. And you can see the methods, data sources. Check, check, check. Oh, this does not have the cache table here. Okay, this has the dir party table. Okay, they are storing in a different fashion from this. So whatever we need to do is, again, we need to check how they are storing the information. Based on that, we need to again go with the data. Okay, you can try that. When it is getting quickly created, na, you can try that by adding the fields. You can see how it is working and you can create the extension out of it. Okay, because in this, they have used it, a entity dir party. Let me check if there are any data sources reference. No. Okay. They have created a dir party entity, and mostly this dir party entity might have some details. Okay. Where you can check that is, you can go to data entities, dir party entity, and then let me open this in the designer mode, and here see the data sources. Done. They have only logistics postal address entity and dir base entity. Okay. Then we need to go and check in the code again, how they are storing the data in the cache table, and then we need to modify all that. Okay. So we need to go and check that particular piece of code. I want you to try that. Okay. When we are using the quick create form to create the customer, how to update the values of maximum threshold and minimum threshold. You can try that and let me know. If you're not getting, please let me know. I will show you. Okay. It's just a piece of code where we need to check and we need to write it. Or it might be a piece of a query where we need to check and we need to write it. It will be very simple. Okay. I want you to try that. And it has MCR cache table. Let me check here. Okay. It does not have all the things. It has only MCR cache table. Application suite extension, application suite. Okay, this is a different one again. You need to check that particular thing and then we need to write the piece of code, and that will give you the information. Yep. Yeah. Now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries on form extensions, how to create, and what is a form data source extension, and what are the form data source events, and then form control events. Please let me know if you have any queries. If there are no queries, I will end session for everyone. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again on Monday, same time. Thank you all. Bye. But please try this, because this quick create form, the customer is getting created from this quick create form. So please try this and let me know if you are not able to do that. I will show you.